coming at you from a couple of stools in the low class studios. This is a feminist and a comedian walk into a bar.
Whoop,
What's
whoop.
up, guys? I'm Jackie Manti, and I'm a feminist. I am your host this fine evening. Welcome. Glad you're here. I am sipping on, actually, to tell you what I'm sipping on, I need to introduce my co host today,
And we'll
Justin
sip
Golak,
together.
a comedian.
Hey, I'm Justin Golak. I'm a comedian. It's more kind of what we'll be slurping
Slurping on. What you slurping on?
on. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone listening, because I assume you might be listening the day before, the day of, or maybe a couple days after, unless you're a super early adopter. If so, thank you very much. But anyways, happy Thanksgiving. We got some Friendsgiving things coming up, and a lot of them we're doing kind of big spreads. You know, we're gonna hit up two on Thanksgiving Day, some friends play. They seem to be having big spreads, have the mains and the sides figured out, and they wanted, kind of like booze or dessert, or just kind of like just something little, just something you could throw on. But no one was really looking for
Fun little extra.
no one was really looking for a potato or a salad or a dip or anything like that. So I had just watched. Where were we? Maybe it was while we were in Texas. Maybe it just came on TV. I'm trying to remember. It doesn't really matter though. But I just watched a Good Eats about gelatin.
Mm,
And Elton Brown, he gets really into it. And I was like, I
for
guess
sure.
you could do a lot of cool things with gelatin besides just a slab of strawberry jello. And I was like, Jello shots. Jello shots are always fun. Why don't you take it up a level instead of just, getting the packet of lime jello, pouring half a bottle of vodka in it, and calling it a day? Why don't you elevate it? Why don't you theme it? And why don't you make that your thing? So we have boozy and non-boozy apple cider Jello shots. So yours is a little more basic because really the only addition to mine is booze. So basically, I'll just tell you the booze one and then tell you the non-boozy one. So for the booze one, I did Bullet Bourbon. That's probably my favorite bourbon. I'm not a big bourbon guy, but the ones I like are the ones I like. So I like Bullet. Um, put some cinnamon sticks in it in a mason jar. Let it
Mm.
sit overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Get a little infused of that cinnamon.
In the fridge?
No, with the
Just
booze,
okay.
cool, dark place. So in a cabinet is perfect. Like
Okay.
in a what do you call it? What is cabinet right? Yeah, cabinet. What's the things like in the kitchen? That sounded
A
wrong.
kitchen cabinet.
Yeah, kitchen cabinet. So it just sounded ever so. Anyway, I don't even try to explain. It just sounds like that sounds like the wrong word, but it was. Anyways,
It's like when you look at a word too much and it looks like it's spelled
yeah, it was
wrong.
like that sometimes.
Okay.
But anyway, so did that and then combined it with apple cider and the gelatin mix. I mean heating and cool. But basically that's the. And I just did a 1-to-1.
Just gelatin? You can just buy gelatin at the
Yeah, just
store.
like unflavored gelatin.
Oh,
The only
okay.
difference between that and Jello is just they add flavoring to the powdered gelatin.
I
This is
see.
just unflavored gelatin.
Okay.
So I did half booze, half of the cinnamon booze, and then just half apple cider, and then poured it into the little, plastic things that Jello shots go into with the little lid.
Wait, so you mix the booze and cider 1-to-1 and then put how much gelatin in with it?
Like I said, it's ratio based, so that's why I'm just giving you like ratio of booze to juice. But amount of cups is just how many servings you want to do. So for my specific thing, it was 2 cups of cider, 2 cups of booze, and 4 packs of gelatin.
Oh, okay.
But I'm saying my ratio is one to
I know.
one
I didn't
booze
know
to
how much
juice.
gelatin you put in. Yeah.
Again, it just depends how much you're gonna make, is what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. The ratio of booze to juice is 1-to-1,
I get
but
it.
increase the cups more or less. Then for yours, basically, since I figured I'm just gonna do all juice, I just took half the juice and put that in mason jars with some cinnamon sticks. So I infused the apple cider directly. So yeah, it's either apple cider and booze or just apple cider, but both infused with cinnamon. The gelatin in, put them in the little cups, and now look, we got Jello
So an
shots.
infusion is just letting the shit sit in there for a little bit. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Most people do with vodka, but you can do with any booze.
I love it.
So I made this fucking black pepper and bacon vodka once.
Oh, I remember that.
It was so good
I had
for
that in the Bloody
Bloody
Marys. Oh, that
Marys.
was delicious.
Ooh, girl. All right, so let's slurp this up, and this is our drink. Happy Thanksgiving, Jackie.
Happy Thanksgiving. Cheers.
Cheers, and cheers to you listeners out there. How do you do? Do you do it with the tongue? Do you put your tongue around it
Mm-hmm.
to separate it? Ooh, strong. Woo-hoo! It's spicy, but it's strong. Is it not coming out good?
Yeah, it's coming out.
This one, the boozy one, like popped right out. I did try a non-boozy one this morning. You got to put your tongue like
I
around
know
the
how to make a
edge.
Jello shot, Justin. I already did that. It's not coming out.
Woo! That's boozy.
Mm.
Woo! It's gonna be a fun Thanksgiving.
This is kind of weird. I'd probably just drink a cider, but I do think it's cute.
I wanted to give
it's
a
a
non-boozy
cute little
option.
addition. Yes, and listen, Justin, I complain all the time that no one makes not booze-free options at bars and stuff. So I really appreciate the effort. This is cute, and I'll definitely do more at Friendsgiving.
Here, clean yourself up.
It kind of tastes like just cold applesauce, but like a weird consistency.
I know, but like I said, I just wanted like an equivalent thing, and the only difference is really the booze. So, you don't like it? I just saw you spit it out.
It's just kind of heavy.
Heavy? What
I
do you
don't
mean
know.
so?
I feel like when you're taking it like a Jello shot, I don't know. I don't know if maybe I'm just like expecting the alcohol flavor, and so it's just too much.
I mean, I had one this morning. It just
Concentrated
tastes like
cider.
apple cider.
Yeah, I don't think I like it.
Do you like apple cider?
Hmm. I can't get
Do you
over.
like
I
Jell-O?
can't get over the consistency of the cider like this.
So you just don't like Jell-O?
Maybe not. I guess I've only really eaten Jello as an adult with booze in it.
All right, well, put your Jello shot down so we can go on with the show.
Did you have trouble getting it out of there?
No.
Justin, though, I want to applaud your
So you're more saying like,
accommodations of
all right,
alcoholics.
here's what I'm thinking you're saying, though. Because the Jones Soda every Thanksgiving, at least they used to. I'm sure they still do. They kind of do these like kitschy flavored sodas for the holiday. So they have like mashed potato flavored soda. You know what I mean?
Oh, cool. Mm-hmm.
So your complaint isn't that it tastes gross. Your complaint is like, I like the same thing with like Jones Soda. Like,
right.
I like mashed potatoes,
Yeah.
but that flavor in a soda, no. So you're saying like liquid apple cider, good. Strawberry Jello, good.
Yeah.
But apple cider as a Jello, no thanks.
Weird.
The same
Yeah.
way I wouldn't drink a cup of liquid like offensive to your taste
No,
buds.
it's not gross. No, it's just
Because that's really was my only complaint. Like I said, I just had one this morning just to test it because I had it sitting overnight last night. And I was like, yeah, I was like, I taste a little cinnamon and it just tastes like apple cider. Whereas, like I said, like this one, because you have booze and cinnamon and cider, it's like a little different and tasty. The boozy one. I mean, it's strong, but it's good.
It's strong.
It's strong. So, but it's tasty.
Yeah,
so I'm excited.
I feel like it'd probably be a lot better with booze in it.
I know, but I wanted an option.
No, I know, babe.
We have like
I am high fiving you.
we have a lot of sober buddies at these Friendsgivings,
I know.
and I wanted to support the team.
Oh, I feel like when you get to your late 20s, early 30s, a lot of us are like, I can't do that anymore. Do you have the
I know. I've been wanting
the
to
booze free Jello shots?
I've been kind of like wanting to write a joke. I just don't know. I know the premise. I just don't know where to go with it. But the idea of like the one side effect of partying hard in your 20s that no one brings up is that like none of your friends want to party with you in your 30s. I have so many friends that are sober now. What was it, that Doug Stanhope joke you made about AA? He's like, I've lost more friends to AA than Liberace did to the virus.
That's funny.
I don't know. You take another bite.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll melt and you can just drink it. Because it tastes okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just don't like it as a Jello.
It's just the consistency.
But the flavor is okay.
That's it. Flavor's really good, and it's super fun, Justin. Like I said.
Well, hopefully it's a hit Thursday. All right, topic one.
I wonder if there's something about the alcohol that makes it just slide out of the thing.
I was kind of wondering. I don't know why that one released better. I got a decent release on the one I did this morning, but I agree it didn't come out as
easily as the Jello slide just like
one.
slurps out into your mouth.
Yeah, it was just like it came out as one piece, but when I looked at the cup, there was some remnants. Whereas this one, almost no remnants.
Do you have them clearly marked in the fridge?
Yeah, I put a little red dot on all the boozy ones.
Boozy ones. Okay, cool.
Yeah. See, took precautions.
Yeah, dude, let's get into it.
All right. Well, I guess
before
plugs,
we start,
quick plugs.
I was about to do that.
Look, I wasn't micromanaging. I was just the one that's saying we should get into topic one, so I wanted to be the one to say like, oh, by the way.
I got it.
Okay, you take us down. I'm feeling a little drunk.
Are you? Yeah, your reaction was like that it was strong, and I feel like you have a high tolerance for that stuff.
It's probably like a shot of booze, so it's not
Yeah.
crazy, but it's still like taking a shot of bourbon and then being like, all right, let's pod.
I love Jello shots because you could get so much down and it went so easy. You guys, you can check out more past episodes of the podcast at FemComPod.com. And as always, check out all of our stuff at lowclass.com. That's lo-class.com. We have lots of cool content up there, and shirts aren't for sale anymore, but if you go to buy.lo-class.com, you can find a link to my book that you can click through and buy from Amazon. Cool. All right, let's get started.
Cool.
Okay, topic 1. I wanted to talk about the latest issue of The Atlantic, the cover story. I think it's the latest issue. Whatever. The cover story. Actually, I kind of love the cover photo. It's a photo of a bird standing kind of far away with its back to a bee.
Oh, okay.
And the bee is like looking the other way. I love magazine covers for like news and analysis magazines because they're so clever. So the birds and the bees are not touching. They're not commingling. They're not fucking, which is kind of a weird saying anyway. But the cover story is titled, "Why Are Young People Having So Little Sex? Despite the easing of taboos and the rise of hookup apps, Americans are in the midst of a sex recession." So the author, Kate Julian, she reviews all this research and numbers, the data, and declares that we are in a sex recession, meaning that people are, especially young people, are having a lot less sex than they did in the past. Our young adults are on track to have fewer sex partners than members of the 2 preceding generations. And, and they're having sex later. Right, so I think the numbers were that in high school, I graduated high school in 2004. When we were in high school, they were like more than 50% of your class had sex by the time you graduated. Now it's about 40%. So
Okay.
in fact, most high school seniors are graduating not having had sex than have, which is an interesting turnaround. And it's cool because I feel like she doesn't say that's good or bad, which it could. I mean, a case could be made for either, right? But the story really looks at like why that change is happening, and of course, there's a million reasons. Through interviews, people blamed it on everything: estrogens leaked by plastics, dropping testosterone levels, digital porn, the vibrator's golden age, dating apps, helicopter parents, careerism, smartphones, the news cycle, anxiety, information overload, sleep deprivation, obesity, the Me Too movement, psychological frailty, surging anxiety rates. So many reasons. And so this story is really interesting. I think you guys should check it out. It's one of the ones on The Atlantic where they have the audio of it. Someone can read it to you. So
Nice.
people like Justin will actually read.
One of my fucking faves.
Actually see the story.
The whole world should be programmed like that.
But I thought what was super interesting just was this topic of, well, basically my question for you is, why do you think people our age and younger are having less sex than before? And are there like any of those reasons that article sort of pulled apart that stick out to you?
I was kind of thinking about it, and I was kind of, I kind of probably hit on a lot of the things that you listed. But then I kind of thought about it more, and I was like, is there a reason, like a reason, or is this just a normal market correction? Like you said, is it really a bad thing, or is it a good thing, or at least a neutral thing? Because the way I think of it, I kind of started thinking about it, and I was like, I think we have a misconception about sex in the past, and I think we just overshoot the past by almost a whole generation. Because I feel like when we think about our parents, we think about like poodle skirts and malt shops. But that's really like our grandparents' generation, and maybe even like great-grandparents, depending on how young of a millennial you are. So it's like, really, our parents, it's not that they were having too much sex, but it's kind of like, the 50s, too little sex, like a real just fucking, prudish Protestantine fucking, I think I made that word up, but you know what I mean. But like just oppressively anti-sexual, puritanical. That is the word I was looking for. And So we always think of that as bad because I think in most ways it is, and then we think, and it's like, oh yeah, our parents were in the post antibiotics, pre AIDS, like women wanted their rights, all festivals were outdoors and nude, just fucking era, and that's good as a rejection of like overly prudish times.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it is, and we talk about it with things like the Me Too movement, where it's like like where people like us can be like, look, we're not going to sit here and throw it out whole cloth, but we do realize it's like gone too far a lot. But that's because we're in a correction period. But once it swings back to the middle, we will have moved enough that the world is better, but we won't have. But we'll have rejected the gone too fars of the swing, and I think that's maybe where we are with sex, where it's right, like. I feel like attitudes towards sex are positive, whether it's number of partners, when you did it. Me, that's all positive. So I wouldn't say a music festival. That's gross, and it is gross. But waiting till 25 and fucking my husband, and that's the first time I have sex. That's also gross. Or even like I said, even if it's not multiple partners, like me and my husband should still explore ourselves while we're dating or even engaged. So again, like saying like prude bad. Mud fucking bad. I think maybe our generation is swinging a little left, a little right, and then just kind of settling down in a good middle.
I do feel like I know it's a provocative term to call it a sex recession, but that sort of implies something negative, right? Like when you're in an economic recession, oh, the boon is over. Here we have to be more austere with ourselves, or there's sort of a negative implication. A great job of like not being too judgmental of it, just looking at what are some of the causes of this. And one of which I thought was super interesting was that child sexual abuse is way down.
Yeah.
And so that, the risky, this is all great news, like she does bring up the highlights of it.
So you don't have kids fucking at 15 for the wrong reasons.
Right.
Because an uncle at 10,
sure, right.
And that's why they're fucking.
And so
that's not like revolutionary.
Is like sort of not the right one because sure, if it's less, but I don't know, the negative connotations with it I think are not apt here, because I think that again, for example, the Me Too thing, where it's like exactly what you're saying, where you're sort of learning that hey, you hitting on me in the elevator at work, coworker, is probably not the best course of action, whereas that was sort of a reason given by some younger men who were like, if you're not dating online or doing something via social media or technology, you're seen as being creepy, which is just so interesting to me, because remember, to even 10 years ago, like dating online was considered creepy, and now it's sort of the opposite. But it's I feel like that's the next middle ground we have to figure out, right? Is like, how do you have those interactions in person?
I still think that that stuff, it's really just, that's why I said I went through ideas in my head. Like I said, a lot of them matched up with that list, and I'm sure these people that have made up that list, whether they're scientists, researchers, bloggers,
all
whatever.
Yeah.
But to me, again, it's like dating apps versus in person versus like, I think society figures that stuff out quick, and just we mold to norms quickly. And if you're horny, you're gonna figure out how to get fucked or to fuck or whatever. You know what I mean? I just don't see these as factors. I see them as like generational differences. It's like the difference between like having a VCR, having a DVD player, or having to go to the 5-cent matinee. Like, it's like, maybe we watch more movies now because of Netflix. Probably we do, but it's still like, I don't know. We still want to watch movies, we want to be entertained. Like, that's, again, maybe your grandpa didn't watch as many movies, but was he entertained as much? If his bar for entertainment was like reading the morning paper and listening to his favorite radio program, or whatever, or going to the bar to chat with the boys. Like, I'm sure he still had a similar entertainment budget financially and time-wise. It's just the way we consume it now looks different. But human nature is the same. So I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, I think human nature towards sexuality is the same as it was 100, 120 years ago. It just looks different. But I think that's all date of start. I think like I said, I think it's a reaction to, like I said, a positive swing that the baby boomer generation gave us, but ultimately, like all swings that needed to be slightly normalized. It pushed us in the right direction. We just needed to back it up off the curb just a little bit to get into that spot. And I don't know, you always talk about it because I think, right, like 70s and 80s, they kind of pushed us. Again, good push, like even late 60s pushed. But then you're kind of right. Like, we're the generation of like Britney Spears and stuff. Meaning, like, I think it was a lot of us being like, is that a 16-year-old showing us her tits on
Telling us
TV?
to hit her one more time.
This seems like we
big swings. There are two more swings I think of in there as far as so like 80s, yeah, like 70s, 60s, 70s, the sexual revolution, right? Well, then when AIDS hit, it was like that, which is its own nightmare, but sort of this drawback of like, oh,
Yeah.
there are like physical consequences to this, like let's get that under control, let's have talks about this, and like how do we balance this discussion of not shaming sexuality but
Yeah.
also protecting ourselves and doing it safely, and having, and I feel like that was sort of the conversation of the 90s. And so then late 90s, early 2000s, which is like you and I's prime high school sex years, right? Like the mentality was like, we fucking figured it out. We got it. Sexual revolution and plus condoms equals Britney Spears. We got it. I want to be bad, baby. You know, it's ex Tina, dirty. Like, and looking back on that, I'm like, ew. Like, that's
But I think
weird.
a lot of people are looking back on it and saying that's kind of what I'm saying is like I think it pushed until our if you're like us and you were born in the mid 80s, I think it pushed until we were in high school, and then it was like, okay, this is like too much. And again, not like we need to go back to church, but like, all right, we need to like this is we don't want to be gross.
Do you know what I think? And it's so obvious because look at our pop stars. I feel like right after that, the after the blonde
T Swift.
Yeah. And I'm serious. Like T Swift has this sort of demure sexuality to her, but she dates a lot. I mean, we do our own weird sexist shaming of her for her relationship
Don't
stuff.
get off topic.
But she was very much a so she had maintained this sort of like not puritanical innocence, but there was an innocence to her. She sang songs about wanting to get married. Romeo and Juliet, this romantic relationship, whereas like our Britney Spears and these were like about getting off and like touching yourself, and like that was like the main message, which isn't good or bad, but it was really to the extreme. And I think the reaction to that was Taylor Swift, and look at Katy Perry, who is like this obviously very sexualized person as well, but it's kind of cutesy. It's like it's got this like candy flavored, like
it's cutesy, but she's also like in her like she even when she was doing I Kissed a Girl,
she's
like
in her
it, she was in her
30s.
well probably in her 20s at least. I mean, we're talking Britney Spears.
Yeah.
It was gross. The only way they got away with it was because it was like 16-year-old jerking off to another 16-year-old. So, but or at least that's how they played it. Like, this music is for kids. And again, like Britney Spears, it's for girls. It's like, no, it was for guys like me in high school to jerk off to.
Yeah.
And that's weird. It's weird that you did that. And that's, I think once we got in our 20s, we're like, that's weird. Like, we should chill. And like, I think, and then like the next generation, people younger than us, would look back on that too and be like, our parents and or older cousins were weird. We should be a little more chill. Like, let's
chill out.
Just a little. I just think the last thing I'll say, we should move on, but like, and so you can say another last thing too, is I think just to go back to something we talk about frequently, so we don't need to dig deep, but just, again, bring this up all the time, is that whenever they do abstinence-only education in communities, what do the numbers show? Rate of first sexual partner goes lower, gets younger, and rates of STDs and pregnancies go up. So again, like, it's still, our sexual education system is still a goddamn catastrophe, but there's no way it's not better than it was 15, 20 years ago, especially in probably, I'm sure, more like liberal, less Bible belty places. So to me, and I don't know the exact figures, I'm sure they're out there, but I would guess, I think it's reasonable to guess that if abstinence only makes chicks pregnant sooner and people fucking earlier, you could only assume that education, positive, non-God-based education, would only help. And that's the thing. It's like, again, it's not that people aren't fucking. It's just maybe they're like, all right, like, let me just wait a year. Again, we're not talking like no one's fucking in high school. We're not talking people are only having sex with one person. We're talking like people seem to just be making smarter decisions.
Yeah.
And what increases the a smarter decision making process? Information. So if our sex education is getting better, it's only gonna again make that balance of freedom and choice and body and sex positivity, but also like intelligence and safety. And I think that's what good education does. So I can only assume there's at least a correlation there, if not a proven causation.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and I really don't think quote unquote sex recession is a negative thing. I feel like if anything, I would say it's positive. They bring up in the article, which for my last point, what I thought was really interesting was that discussion of helicopter parenting and how, with the kids are, well, one, the older millennials like us, more of us live with our parents, so that's cutting into our sex life, which I think is funny because who wants to fuck in their parents' house
Yeah.
at 30? But the younger kids, right? So they're not having sex until college, and the question was asked of like, does that sort of make them ill prepared to like deal with this because they haven't had sort of experience with dealing with sort of the emotional repercussions of a sexual relationship in high school. They're not getting that till college, and they've sort of been coddled, blah blah blah. That discussion is such bullshit and wrong. I don't think that's, I think that is overestimating and sort of romanticizing what those relationships look like in high school, and I think you're probably better to wait until college. I mean, it all depends, case by case. I just remember that like I wish I had waited until college. There's so much baggage going on in high school, right? Or just shit, whatever. Also, I don't know. I feel like it was sort of the dynamics were weird because it was like you're on your own and in college.
Well, I would say just sexual.
Usually, you're dealing with them by
to me, it's
yourself
just
anyway.
sexual
in high school. You're not
education.
telling your
Sexual
parents.
education.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yes.
it smooths out all those rough edges, because that's the thing. It's like, what do they even mean by sex? Like, do they mean intercourse?
They mean intercourse, yeah.
Then it's like, yeah, I think like again, like I agree, yeah, like I just think again, like I don't know. It's like just treat these kids like little adults because they're on their way there, right? Not yet a woman, but not a girl or whatever. You know, it's like,
to
to bring it
full
back.
circle.
So it's just like there needs to be. I mean, you're already talking to them about sex, but then you bring in Jesus.
Yeah.
So I just don't think it's crazy the idea of you can just be like, hey guys, why don't you just hand job for a couple years? You'll form a bond. You'll fucking work out those hormones, hand job and finger, get the ladies too. But like your risk of sexual disease is way down. Your risk of pregnancy is essentially nil. Like just talking to these kids about like forming bonds
Right.
through other means of safer sexual practices that can kind of be like training wheels into sex instead of just being like, don't do it, because then
Yeah.
you'll scare a couple kids, but then some kids will be like, again, it'll just kind of be like another risk-taking behavior. Like you tell kids don't do drugs, so they go like, well, I'm just gonna fucking do it. I'll either die or I won't, because that's what they made it seem like. And the same with sex. They'll be like, we either get an AIDSy baby or it'll be tight, and I'll just roll the dice. But if you gave them like options with real facts, they would be like, all right, well, it does seem scary, but it's not, we're not scared of it. We just recognize the real risk because they taught it to us really. But they also gave us these options. Like, I think kids are smart. Kids want information, and they're going to make dumber decisions than adults because they have little spongy, half separated brains. But like, you could count on them a little more, and they're still people, and people need information to make decisions, and we're still giving them faulty information.
Yeah, you and I feel like
we do gotta move on. So
I
whatever
know
you're
we gotta
saying
move
is
on. I'm
that
just gonna finish it, and then I'm gonna fucking hand it off to you. You're just
Jeez.
like this in bed too. No, I'm just kidding. I was
know
trying
what
to
that
tie
means.
it
It
to
seems
sex.
like
I
it's
don't
maybe a
know. I feel like
compliment.
it was maybe mean
I don't know.
that you're making me get off.
All right, topic 2. So, what do you want to say? Just make it quick.
Oh yeah, sex education and how, I feel like a lot of young boys learn what they think sex, and girls think what sex is supposed to look like from porn, and that's not an accurate depiction usually ever.
Yeah.
And so then they're having bad sex. The bad sex leads to not wanting to do it again because it sucks, or emotional destruction and not wanting to do it because of that. So, anyway.
All right. So,
Topic 2.
we got a bunch of, what is this? Was it the most women elected to Congress in one election ever? Woo! Well, that's the topic. Topic 2. More women elected to Congress than ever in history. We had another wave like this in the 80s, right? Or the early 90s. But this is still the biggest one, so that doesn't matter. So I guess in general, just media narratives and all this kind of stuff and Twitter activism and all the kind of things, like, do you give a shit, Jackie Manti, as a woman? Do you care that there are more women elected than ever? Or do you not care?
I mean,
And
yes,
why?
I do care because I feel like we need more people in Congress that represent the greater population, right?
Yeah.
We are 51% of the population. We should be represented there. I'm not saying we have to have 51%, but like we need more representation of female perspectives in there.
But do
Um,
you, like, again, I just think of
well,
the last 2 years pre-midterm, and I think of, like, Kellyanne Conway, Betsy DeVos, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, like,
Sarah
what?
Palin, I know, I get it. I'm not saying what I was gonna say is
Yeah,
that that doesn't mean that I'm like cheering for all the women who made it. But you're
no.
asking if I think if I'm excited that there are more women in Congress. Yeah, I am. But it doesn't mean I'm automatically gonna like
But that, I guess that's my
support
point, is
them
why are you excited then? I
because
think
of
you're
what I
kind of,
just said. That I having a female perspective. That doesn't mean
I'm not
that
saying we
female
should have,
perspective is gonna agree with me.
I'm against women being in Congress at all. That's not the point. I'm saying I do not give a shit. Like, my point is like, I like women. You know what I want you guys to have in the modern political landscape, and I'm a bum that this is still in the modern political landscape, but it is what it is. Having access to safe legal abortions. Now, if
Yeah,
there was a male candidate promising to fight tooth and nail for that right for you, I mean, to me, that's all I care about. I care about the positions. And I think, we still have, like, we still have the head of the Democratic Party for all intents and purposes, because she can make one media appearance and the talk is 2020. Hillary Clinton, who seems like the most centrist kind of candidate in the Democratic Party. I'm sure you can find more centrist Democrats, like, in southern states and whatnot. But, I just kind of am, like, over this discussion about female candidates. Again, like, if they're female candidates with good positions, great. Like,
mm-hmm.
primary your dude in your district and get up in there. Like, it's the thing is, like, I'm not against women at all, but they need to have good positions. And it's just funny just to see headlines about women elected to Congress in this positivity when that's the only fact you've given me. Do you know what I mean? Like, all you've given me
I
is
get
their
what you're
gender and you
saying.
want me to be
I
excited.
don't.
I just can't
I
be
get what you're
excited.
saying. I just feel like here's the thing that's hard for me to explain to you is you don't know what it feels like
Oh, here it
to
comes.
have no, I'm serious, Justin, to have grown up and lived your entire life where most of Congress doesn't look like you or have had the same experiences of you as you because of your body and they're like making rules about how you govern that body, right?
Right.
And I agree with you. I would vote for a man who was fighting for my right to have an abortion over a woman like Sarah Palin. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean I'm not going to celebrate the fact that and they're just saying in
Well,
the headline, hey, lots of women got
well,
voted to Congress.
I know, but it's still like this narrative of, like, more women than ever nominated to Congress. Our country's going the right direction. It's like, is it? What are their positions? Like, you know what? Like, and here's the thing:
Sure, there could
to
be more
show you that I'm
discussion
not
about
against women, and to show you that I'm not against even this election, is what seemed to have happened in the Democratic Party, at least in some parts of it. Some parts of it are still full of buckets of retards. But I think that we have said
I thought that was for the Republicans.
there's buckets of retards everywhere. And I think there's still enough people in the Democratic Party that were like, you fucked us over with the Bernie thing. You lost because of it. Now we have a monster in the White House. We want Medicare for all. We want free college. We want to stop going to war. We want to, like, rein in, like, the banks and all this shit that we've been wanting for a long time. But now you need to give it to us. And to their credit, they're being women, it seems like the women candidates that sprouted up is like, hey, we'll do that. And we're like, finally, because we've had a fucking shitstorm of shitty blue-tied men that
Mm-hmm.
would not fight for that. So that's what I
Yeah.
mean. Is like, and that's the whole point. It's like, I want Bernie Sanders to run in 2020. even though he's like he's way too goddamn old, and I wish there was someone better, because I think he still has the best positions of anyone kind of rumored to run for president in 2020, and that includes the women like Kamala Harris, maybe Elizabeth Warren a little bit is okay, but Kamala Harris trash. There's just a lot of women that I'm like, it's trash, same as yesterday, moderate, war hungry, dog shit, not helping the people policy. But yeah, if we could get a young woman that has Bernie Sanders kind of same political platform, I would for sure vote for her over him if she was like younger and or a thing like that.
And
or
also
again,
that Alexandria from New York.
I mean, she's too inexperienced, but
Sure.
someone like that, or just, anyways, that's my point. Is like,
yeah, I'm just telling. You just give me an example that
I think
they're coming down the pike.
women stepped up and took on those views. So I am happy at most of the women we got. But I hate that because here's another one. Speaking of Bernie Sanders, again, to say it's not, to prove it's not a sex thing. I hope he runs because it's all we have, I think, for those good ideas. But I hate fucking old people having to be the ones to lead us. Like, I love it. I respect old people. I don't want to go full Chinese, but I don't want to go full, like, pop culture, American youth culture is the only culture. Don't trust anyone over 30.
What does full Chinese mean?
It's just like, oh, he's the elder.
The elder,
you know? But I like that he's around, stay in the Senate, right? Be a leader in the Democratic Party, but I'd rather have a 50-year-old president. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's the idea here. Again, just besides, so it's besides policies. While I don't, another reason why women were elected, aren't you excited? I don't know. Tell me more. Shalala? Is that, I can't find her first name. Shalala. She's 77-year-old. She's the second oldest House freshman to ever be elected by 1 year. And it's like, yeah, I'm not excited about that. I don't really care what her policies are. I don't like that we just elected a 77-year-old who's a freshman congressman. I don't like that. That's too fucking old. So it's like, I don't care that she's a woman.
And I do think I am in the middle.
Yeah.
Where I feel like it is cool, and I do want to celebrate the fact that more women are in there, because I think that is a step in the right direction, that there are more women. That being said, I agree with you that our conversations in the media and in our popular culture hopefully start to become more about, hey, what are her topics? What are her... because, for example, I got annoyed the other day because Alexandria from... I can't say her last name because I'm super white, from New York, right?
Yeah.
Who everyone loves. She's like this darling because she basically is Bernie Sanders in this beautiful 28-year-old
smoking hot
body.
Bernie Sanders.
And young, excited, energy. She seems so legit for the workers.
Brown, but not one of like the scary browns.
Oh God, I'm thinking for my, like, just that she supports workers' rights. She supports healthcare. She is someone working for her community who is from the community, for the people, by the people, right? She represents all of this cool shit, and I really like her. Everyone else seems to too, but someone tweeted like a photo of her. She did like a live video stream, right, of her talking about issues, and which is great, cool. She's chopping up peppers, so she's like in her like t-shirt for bed, and like her glasses, her hair's up, and she's chopping peppers for dinner while talking about her plans and sort of what she wants to do. Okay, that's a PR stunt, you guys. Come on, we can know. She gets to decide how it's not like she's a busy working mom who has to chop peppers while talking about her plans, and you film her. Like, that is a PR strategic move. Here nor there, it's a good one, right? Like, it's a good one. You're relating to the people, to the kids. It was a very Obama-esque move, right? You're gonna appeal to this generation, but like, who cares? Who fucking cares? Like, what she said? What is she saying? Like, what is her? What's the content of this talk?
But
right?
I think she's been mostly content.
Can I just finish?
I thought you were fucking finished.
This was like blowing up on Twitter because they were like, oh my God, she's just like us. People were falling in for and talking about the PR stunt, right? But without calling it that, like saying like, she's chopping peppers.
But here's the thing.
Love on our platform. That's stupid.
Right. But here's the thing. You know what you need to win? I don't care if you're blue or red. I don't care what.
A Snapchat?
No. You know what you need to win? I want to hear you say it.
Votes?
You need the buckets of retards. So as long as you put policies first and get me excited, and then be like, all right, well, but now I got to actually win this election, and then you chop peppers on Snapchat, that's fine. I just think that so many candidates, Democrat and Republican, It's all peppers, no
Yeah,
policy.
that's true.
So I
I
don't
was just
mind
more
that
saying that I'm trying to agree with you that
it's
that
the
we are
hardest thing you'll ever do in
I
your
know
life
I
is
hate
try to
it
agree
that
with me.
we are not having that. Like I just was like annoyed, not at her at all. Like
Yeah.
whatever. She just that's the way it's the way PR works, right? And she's got to do something like that. I
Yeah.
totally get it. And of all the things she could have done, like that's cool. I'm into it.
Yeah.
But like that was our conversation. It's sort of like when Oprah Winfrey gave that amazing speech at the Oscars, and people were like, "Oprah 2020," and it's like, "You idiots!" That's like not. That isn't the conversation.
But she just said it. She needs to appeal to these idiots, but I feel like she's been a lot of substance. They're all gonna do shit like that. I feel like she's been mostly substance, so that doesn't bother
Who,
me.
Alexandria or Oprah or both? Alexandria Oprah 2020.
I don't know about that. But
Let's move
anyways,
on to topic
but
3.
also because like the thing I'll say last thing is like I like how many of these women were just like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna vote for Nancy Pelosi speaker. Like I don't know. I want to,
Yeah.
and that's kind of like another one where I'm like, she's old, she's trash. Like we need someone better.
She's not trash.
She's trash. She's straight up trash.
All right.
She's
let's
not
get
gonna
into
make
that.
the world a better place. She just wants to, she like it's trash. It's straight trash.
Let's move on to topic 3.
But my point is like I don't care that she's a woman. If we get another woman Speaker of the House, great. If it's a man with better policies, also great. Like I'm just not hung up on gender or color or creed or race or religion. And it's just like I don't know. I think like here's the thing. If you're a good Democrat, you don't care about those things. Meaning that with good ideas, if you're a true like liberal Democrat and you're open and woke and all that bullshit, then a Muslim with good ideas, a black guy with good ideas, a white woman with good ideas, they should all have equal standing in your mind. Okay, that's like why you're supposed to be better than the Republicans. But if you just pick, oh, she's a Muslim woman who's changing the rules of Congress so she can wear her headscarf to the floor. Like, if that's why you're voting, you're just as dumb as the Republican that's, like, watching the ad of the guy, like, shooting a rifle at a bill and being like, I'm going to blow up spending. I'm going to take a 12 gauge to Obamacare. Like, they also, the reason they are dumb is because they vote for stereotypes. You know what I mean? And if you are just going to be like, women and people of color just because that's what they are, you're just voting for stereotypes. Like, you're being played. And like I said, it just so happens there's a lot of women with good policies, so 100% vote for those women. But that's why you're supposed to be better. That's supposed to be your edge as a Democrat, is that since you have no hate in your heart, whatever idea comes to you that's best, you can vote for. And it doesn't matter who's giving it to you. Whereas the Republicans, you would think, would miss a lot of good ideas because if it's not a 6-year-old white guy with $1 billion, they're not going to blink twice at it. So that's supposed to be your strength. Your strength isn't diversity. Your strength is openness. But in order to win elections and make the country better, more importantly, you should be seeking out the best ideas, not the people that look best for hashtags and memes. So that's all I'll say. All right, take us into topic 3, brah.
Oh, topic 3. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's almost Christmas.
Boo.
Summer's
the most wonderful time of the year.
I'll share this on my Twitter after the show, but there's a link of the best new Christmas songs of 2018. Harper's Bazaar has a Spotify playlist of all of them that they've listed, and it's really good actually. But there's some funny ones. I'll just read some of the titles. Well, Sif John Stevens has one. Shout out to all my people who know him. But there's one called "Hey Sis, It's Christmas" by RuPaul. John Legend and Stevie Wonder did "What Christmas Means to Me." It's pretty good.
Nice.
I think this is one you'll like. "I Got Your Christmas Right Here" by Aloe Black. I thought you'd like that.
I hate Christmas. I hate it so much.
Well, that's my question is, do you have any, like, Christmas things you want to do this year, or, like, a favorite Christmas song?
No.
Do you hate Christmas and, like, the holidays, or just hate it all?
I hate it. You know why I hate it? It's like, didn't we talk about this last year with movies? It's like if it's a Christmas movie, it's put in its own category and it's not judged against other art. So that's why I like the movie Scrooged or the movie Christmas Vacation, because like they're funny movies that happen to take place over Christmas. And that's why I think people like Die Hard so much, because it's like it's a good movie. it happens to fit the theme of Christmas. You know what I mean? So, but so many Christmas movies, they're bad movies. You would never watch them if it wasn't Christmas. And that's why I think about music. It's like these songs are trash. You would not listen to these songs if it wasn't Christmas. Like it, and it's like so, and that's why I feel like Christmas is. It's either like, hey, you know this song you've heard 1,000 times? Hey, someone else is singing it now. A new person's singing it, huh? And then you're like, I don't care. I've heard this song 1,000,000,000 times. I hate it. Or you have that. Or you have like, D. Snyder has a Christmas album. Ain't that wacky? And it's like, well, you already took a novelty song, which is a Christmas song, and made it a novelty song. It would be like someone doing a parody of a Weird Al song. You're putting a hat on a goddamn hat. So it's just like, I fucking hate it. So that's the idea. Like, I got your Christmas right here. It's like, oh, a Christmas song about fucking? Like, you made a funny song about a goofy, like, from
About
a
your
goofy
package.
But you know what I mean? Like, you did a funny song off a group of songs that are already novelty songs. I hate it. It's just like, I just don't know why there's this month where we can't listen to good music or watch good movies. It's like, I just want to do. So that's what I think. I think, you know what? Again, because to prove I'm not just a big curmudgeon, I like
You're not a curmudgeon. You're a Scrooge.
I like anything that celebrates love, caring, and positivity. So what I want to do on Christmas
Just like you.
is I want to make a good meal. Shut up. Like, I'm trying to get in the spirit. I want to make a good meal. I want to cuddle with the one I love. That's you. I want to tell her that I love her. I want us to watch the snow outside while under a warm blanket inside. And so to me, that's Christmas. But what I want on the TV is something funny, something action-packed, something genuinely emotional, and not just a Christmas movie because it's Christmas, but it's really just a trash film. So to me, I don't need the window dressings. If you want to say this holiday is supposed to inspire positivity, I'll try to be extra positive. I'll try to get in that spirit, but I don't want your trash music. I don't want your trash movies. I don't want your gross decorations that just I'm supposed to like a string of red lights just because it's December 25th.
My turn.
Absolutely not. And you know,
I
wish.
love
Do you ever think about the fact
holidays.
that if Jesus was a stillborn, we could have just knocked out Christmas and Easter on the same day?
That's funny.
We could just give kids chocolate eggs for presents. Be like, knocked it all out.
The chocolate eggs in the stocking. You don't even need presents. You don't even need a tree.
Yeah.
Because there's no star. The star is sort of sad because it's like
Jesus
spotlighting the stillborn.
God impregnated Mary to absolve you of your sins, and it came out rigid, so your sins are cool now.
I love the holidays. I love all the decorations. Everything you just said you hated, I fucking love. I have two things I want to do in Chicago this holiday.
You want to ride that holiday train?
No, I don't. That's not on my list
Okay.
because the charm of that has sort of worn off in 3 years of being a Chicagoan.
And riding the train.
Even though I've never made it onto the train, but I'm sort of like, whatever. That seems to have like decorated in Victorian style. Well, lots of different styles, but like they're really like just so intricate and beautiful. They decorate all of them for Christmas. So it's like they're like miniature, like 70 miniature rooms decorated for Christmas. Oh my god,
That
I
one
lose my
sounds
mind.
less exciting, but
And
I'll go
I'm a
with you.
member, so I get you in for free. So you're
That's
going
why I'll
with
go.
me.
That's why I'll go.
And as a member, I get free coat checks. So
Yeah, we used that last
Hell
one.
yeah.
It was pretty tight.
I'm going to see Creed 2 with you. You can come to the miniature
Oh,
Christmas
guys,
rooms
we're
with me.
recording this on Creed 2 Day, the most wonderful day of the
Justin's
year.
wearing his Creed underwears.
I'm so excited. Follow me on the Instagram to see my Creed style inspos at Justin Golak. Plug.
At Justin Golak.
Yeah, dude, fuck the holiday train. Here's the thing I figured out a long time
Why
ago.
fuck the like
Here-
you feel heavily
This
against
isn't even
it?
Christmas based. This whole thing I found out a long time ago. Free public events bring out the trashiest of trash in whatever city you live in, and I steer clear of them pretty much exclusively. I'll go like it's like
I feel like I want to count how many times you've said trash
I
this
will.
episode.
I'd rather just go
Ding,
and like I don't. We're not rich, you know what I mean? Like
I know we're trashy.
we're not going to Lollapalooza, but not the. I mean, a free public event. Ooh, you remember like Red, White, and Boom in Columbus? Just the Mountain Dew swilling, just garbage folk that it drew out because it was like free fireworks and you could just park a fucking lawn chair in the middle of Gay Street starting at noon and just
You
start
could park
pounding
10
Budweisers.
lawn chairs.
Oh, the massacre of humanity. It was like being at
Oh, it's okay.
it was being at like a Walmart stuffed in a flea market. Just it was awful. And so yeah, so that's what I mean, you know, just I'll go anywhere, and that's why but like to me it's like I'd rather just go give me again, not a rich person, not bougie. Give me something with a $3 cover. You would be surprised.
Like the MSI.
You would be you'd be surprised like what kind of a what a $3 cover does for like
3 or
to
5.
like to like
3
add
or 5.
to add just a even 5, but I'm saying 5 for sure, but even 3
You think
just puts enough of a mesh strainer of humanity over the doors of an event that just you start to see just it open up. You start to see the
I
smell
love
dissipate.
how you
the
not even 2 minutes
the
ago said
pounds
you wanted
per-
to celebrate love
the pounds per person
equality
average dips. It's just beautiful.
and peace and joy, love. All right. You guys, this has been super fun.
Woo!
You can listen to more Justin rants on non-creed days at FemComPod.com. I've been Jackie Manti. You can find me on Twitter at Jackie_Manti. I'll tweet right now that bizarre Christmas song list so you can enjoy them with me and fuck Justin, who is...
Please fuck me.
Speaking of, send me your tit pics, Jackie at JackieManti.com. And you can go to JackieManti.com to find more cool shit, blogs, my book, my art, all that stuff. Justin, what you got?
JustinGolak.com. You know what's up. At Justin Golak, Twitter and the gram. Justin at JustinGolak.com. Send me them dick pics. And I think that's it, right? Because I already said JustinGolak.com.
Shout out to our Patreon supporters. You guys are our favorites. Amazing. We love you so much. You guys who are not supporters yet can go to patreon.com/
LO class, no dash.
with no dash.
So
and for $1 a month, you can get extra bonus.
And we got at least 2 more coming out before the end of the year to hit our quota. So we got to work on those. So yeah, that's I think worth signing up for. We got some good stuff up there already, but and we're definitely gonna look to expand it in 2019. So get it on the ground floor. Every dollar helps. And if you want, I mean, you get swag for going up the donation train. And I would say that some of this stuff might make pretty good gifts. So get on that. Get your holiday shopping done.
Get on that train, but not the holiday train.
Yeah.
Because according to Justin, it's for trash people like me who are excited about it.
Should rename the holiday train a moving bucket of retards.
Oh my God. You know what? No, the only people I ever see getting ready for it they're just families. It's a lot of kids.
Yeah, it's the families that won't go to the mall and pay the $10 for the Santa photo. They want to scam a free photo.
Oh, Justin, no, it's very different riding a train that's decorated for the holidays versus going to see Santa at a gross mall. What are you talking about?
No, that's the point. That's what when you're going to free public events, you're going to people that are just like it's not even like a poverty judgment. It's people maybe that have money that have a dad who's like, why would we pay $5? We just go on the holiday train for free. That dad is rude. He's pushy. Like it's the attitude of people that won't pay the $10 cover. It's not an elitist thing I'm saying. It's just being around those people. It gets pushy. It gets awful. Let's end this episode before I say anything more mean about Christmas.
And Nancy Pelosi.
She is awful.
Love you, Nancy. All right, you guys, that's been it for us. LO-class.com. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay, bye.
Bye.